Well, good evening, one and all. I'm Bradford Becker. Welcome to Red Barn Radio. We continue on in our 23rd year of broadcasting with episode number 884. It's a lot of episodes. And Boone Pittman is our guest tonight. Pittman's music has always been tethered to his roots. Pittman's songwriting captures the depths and majesty of his Appalachian homeland while giving the listener a front row vantage point to the culture and history, which he sings about with an authority only those who have lived in that area can express. He calls his album Resurrection Noise, quote, just another chapter in the story of the world through the lens he sees it in natural disasters, relational issues, grief, hope, fear, love, hurt, pain, legacy, and mystery. It's all there, he says. Welcome, Boone Pittman, to Red Barn Radio.
Thank you. Casey Jones.
On April 29, he jumped back on the number one, running past an hour behind. Well, he gave it hell on those rainy rails, and he caught up miles in time. And he beat the sun just north of Vaughn, thinking everything was fine. Well, he saw the flag man a little too late, tried to warn the cannonball. But on the main rail in the fog ahead, a passenger train was stopped. Well, he said, boys, better jump off now if you don't want to die. Said, ain't no way that I can stop the number one in time. Well, Casey tried to hit the brakes, though he knew it was all in vain. There's just no way that he could stop the impact of the train. Still he rode it down into the end, into the great unknown. And every life was saved that day, all except young Casey Jones. Cannonball into the sun, riding hard up toward the throne. 110 on number one, riding hard, young Casey Jones. Keep your eye up on the rail, you're fighting time to ride like hell. Riding hard up toward the throne, riding hard, young Casey Jones. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
From Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, D. Boone Pittman has been an active performing artist in the Kentucky area for 21 years. Pittman first picked up the guitar at the age of 14 in his hometown of Stanton, Kentucky. Since writing, recording, and performing his own original music, Pittman has been nominated for 13 Josie Independent Music Awards, 2 Hollywood Independent Music Awards, and he's won 1 Appy Award for Best Original Song, The Question, in 2024. D. Boone Pittman is here with his band tonight. They're called the Fugitives. It's Christopher Robbins playing the drums back there, Ben Robbins on bass, Stephanie Vanderzoen on keyboards, Sarah Bond on fiddle, Skinny Mulligan on mandolin. We bring you D. Boone Pittman and the Fugitives.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. By the way, that first song came off our second album, the Emerge album. That was the song that I wrote about the story, the true story of legendary railroad engineer Casey Jones, John Casey Jones from Casey, Kentucky. This next song we're going to do came off the Resurrection Noise album that you mentioned earlier. And this is a song that I wrote in response to an experience that I had after a gig. I played this show down in Salvisa, Kentucky, this little campground, and I love playing it down there because every week there's a different crowd. You know, you got a new crowd every week, so that's a musician loves a crowd like that because you don't have to worry about being repetitive. And as I'm setting up, my buddy that was with me, he was coming back from the river because the campground sits right on the Kentucky River. And he said, "Hey, D, have you been down to the river yet?" And I was like, "No, why?" He's like, "You need to go down and look." And the river was completely cluttered with people's belongings because this was the Saturday right after the Eastern Kentucky floods hit in 2022. And, I mean, I've seen the river full of stuff before, but nothing like this. People's lives were literally floating downstream. And it was just really heartbreaking. And I had to go and I had to play a 3-hour show and make people happy after seeing that. So I kind of went home and I wrote this song out of guilt. This song is called The Gig Downstream. Jitter streams and big RVs all lined up in a row. Fire burning, playing an outdoor live acoustic show by the riverside. Watching people's lives flow by. If people drink and sing and all completely unaware. Just upstream, the shattered dreams drift down the thoroughfare while I keep time. Watching people's lives flow by. Well, I swear, man, 'cause I'll never understand when misfortune falls upon the land. That river's high, but out in Texas it stays dry. Here I sit, watching people's lives flow by. Here I sit, watching people's lives flow by. Till there just was nothing left. Homes are tossed and lives are lost and towns completely wrecked, and here am I, watching people's lives flow by. Yeah, people tossing cash into my cans while I sing. Just some wrong, 'cause I don't feel like singing anything, 'cause I'm mortified. Watching people's lives flow by. Well, I swear, man, 'cause I'll never understand where misfortune falls upon the land. That river's high, but out in Texas it stays dry. Here I sit, watching people's lives flow by. Here I sit, watching people's lives flow by. Watching people's lives flow by. Well, I swear, man, 'cause I'll never understand way misfortune falls upon the land. That river's high, but out in Texas it stays dry. Here I sit, watching people's lives flow by. Here I sit, watching people's lives flow by. Well, I guess it's time to tear it down and head myself back home, where everything is right there where I left everything I own. What's in my eye? Watching people's lives flow by. Thanks so much. Is it possible to get a little bit more guitar in my ear, please? This next song is off the first album that we put out in 2019. The album was Bluegrass American Dream. I like to write about Kentucky, place I grew up in, this beautiful state that we live in, the culture, the history, the legacy, everything about it. And this is just an example of one of those songs. And I wrote this song about the Bardstown dinner train experience. If anybody's ever been on the Bardstown dinner train experience, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, it's a really cool excursion. It takes you to this little small town called Limestone Springs. It turns you around and brings you back. They feed you, they got a bar, and they drive you through some of the most beautiful bourbon country that you could ever hope to see in central Kentucky. So this song is about an experience this young couple had on that dinner train. It's called Bardstown Train. Had the very best champagne brought from the bar. Paid the porter an extra 20 to put us in the best car. Tonight we were celebrating the day we put on our ring. Before I knew, I looked up and she got off Limestone Springs, and now I'm all alone on the Bardstown train, with a table for 2 and 3 hours of riding for roses to kill the pain. Now I'm all alone on the Bardstown train. Lord knows the way that you live is driving me insane. Helpless I watched as a Hyundai Uber drove her away. She couldn't even look at me when she stepped out of that train. Tonight I had this vision we'd be loving all night long. But that all went the moment I looked up and she was gone. Now I'm all alone on a Bardstown train, with a table for 2 and 3 hours of riding for have seen this coming around from a million miles away. I should have told her all she meant and all the things a man should say. But hindsight don't change where I am, and I can't go back in time. And I'll be cursed to see those leaving eyes when I hear that whistle whine. Now I'm all alone on a bar-sound train, with the table for 2 and 3 hours of riding poses to kill the pain. Now I'm all alone on a bar-sound train. Lord knows the way that you left me is driving me insane. Stephanie. Thank you so much. Y'all make sure you check out the Bardstown Dinner Train first chance you get. This next song is off the Resurrection Noise album. I wanted to challenge myself when I sit down for the songwriting season that came to become the Resurrection Noise album. And it seemed like all the great songwriters have some really good murder ballad. You know what I'm saying? So I thought I'd take a stab at it. Where's my rim shot, Chris? Thank you. Anyway, this song is called Where the Soul Goes. I wonder where the soul goes when the line between right and wrong is clouded by the worldly view of man. And justice and the law hate to sing when gallows fall, and the gallows come to call for the condemned. Well, Katie was a beauty and she had her mama's smile. Her daddy was a preacher and he ran a mercantile. Little brother, he looked up to Kate and watched her every move. One day Katie never made it home from school. It was her senior year of high school, she was busy making plans. She never felt or saw the need to be with any man. Silas Manning, he was no good, and when Katie caught his eye, his evil heart just would not be denied. Well, they never found young Katie, but a few folks from the town told the sheriff they saw Silas Manning hanging around. They picked him up and tried him, but the jury was kind. They let him go, then a preacher lost his mind. Mercy, Lord, have mercy, Lord. Guide my heart and hand far from the sword. Retribution is the devil and the one I'm running toward. But I pray that you have mercy on me, Lord. Well, the preacher, he called up beside us as he was leaving town. 'Cause then he saw his daughter's ring, the one they never found. The preacher made a promise as they were pulling him away. He said, boy, I'm gonna see you in your grave. Well, the sheriff entered in the church late one Sunday evening. The preacher had his robe on, Bible turned to Psalm 23. Sheriff said, won't you excuse me, folks, the timing's bad, I know. Silas is dead, now the preacher's gotta go. The little brother came a-running, but his dad told him to stay. He whispered something in his ear as they hauled him away. Well, the trial was quick, but this time that old jury wasn't kind. They sentenced him to the execution line. Mercy, Lord, have mercy, Lord. The debt is more than what I can afford. Retribution is the devil and the one I'm running toward. I pray that you have mercy on me, Lord. Well, the years went by, little brother was putting on his daddy's robe. Sacrifice, it was the theme for the sermon that he wrote. He saw his daddy's picture, locked the door, pulled the shade, pulled a ring out from the drawer, and then he prayed. Mercy, Lord, have mercy, Lord. That is more than what I can afford. Retribution is the devil and the one I'm running toward. I pray that you have mercy on me, Lord. Mercy, Lord, have mercy, Lord. That is more than what I can afford. Retribution is the devil and the one I'm running toward. I pray that you have mercy on me, Lord. I pray that you have mercy on me, Lord. I wonder where the soul goes when the line between right and wrong is clouded by the worldly view of man. And justice and the law ain't the same when gavels fall, and the gallows come to call for the condemned. Thanks. This next song's off the Bluegrass American Dream album as well. This is a song I wrote about a little state landmark close to where I grew up on Furnace Mountain, which is in Stanton, Kentucky. This is actually on the Estill County side of the mountain. It's called the Fitchburg Furnace. This song tells the story of the history behind it, but I think the gist of it all is that one time the little town of Fitchburg, Kentucky was thriving. They were making a lot of money because they were making a lot of iron. And when they finally found a better way to do it, when they started making steam around the Great Lakes, all these furnaces in Kentucky shut down. At one time, the state of Kentucky was the largest manufacturer of iron. I don't know if anybody knew that, but they used that to make cannonballs, and they used it to make rails for the railroad when they built the railroad across the western part of the United States back in the late 19th century. So when they shut this little town down, everybody that lived there pretty much scattered. But at one time, the song kind of tells the story of the thriving community that was known as Fitchburg. It's called Furnace Mountain. There's a monument of rock and stone standing strong to make it known of a one-time thriving Irene community, where the cold melted ore that made the rails after the war and brought the town of Pittsburgh opportunity. Well, Frankie found investors buy into his dream. He designed a furnace like this land they'd never seen, and they had twin stack smoking hot, it's like a blazing fire fountain, gonna light that eastern sky on Furnace Mountain. Well, let's keep that coal burning, boys, and keep that money counting. Gonna make our way today on Furnace Mountain. We're gonna make our way today on Furnace Mountain. Well, Pittsburgh was a rockin' man. They were saving, sending for their kin, floating iron down Red River every day. The word is spread throughout the land. There's jobs here for the working man. Then 1,000 men and families came to stay. Well, they had a hotel, a general store, and they had postal work. On Friday they would fill the jail, and on Sunday fill the churches. And they had twin stacks smoking hot, it's like a blazing fire fountain, gonna light that eastern sky on Furnace Mountain. Well, let's keep that coal burning, boys, and keep that money counting. We're gonna make our way today on Furnace Mountain. We're gonna make our way today on Furnace Mountain. Things got hard in '73 for the Red River Iron Company, and it meant the end for the thriving little town. When Pittsburgh started making steam, well, it brought an end to Frankie's dream. Then came the day they shut the furnace down. Later on, a summer tide of seeing the ragged furnace shed, loaded up the seam with TNT, and he put it on a hill. Now them twin stacks, they ain't burning now. The hard times, they are mounting, and it's time to get away from Furnace Mountain. There are no more coal burning, boys, and no more money counting, and there's nothing left for us on Furnace Mountain. Yeah, there's nothing left for us on Furnace Mountain. Well, it's still the store, rock and stone, and it still stays to make it known of a one-time thriving Irene community, where the surgical had melted ore that made the rails after the war, and monument to Frankie Fitch's dream. Well, there ain't much happening there today, except for tourists passing by, and no one stops to give a thought to those that gave their life when they had twin stacks smoking hot. It's like a blazing fire fountain, gonna light that eastern sky on Furnace Mountain. Well, let's keep that coal burning, boys, and keep that money counting. We're gonna make our way today on Furnace Mountain. We're gonna make our way today on Furnace Mountain. Thanks so much.
Hey, our guest this evening on Red Barn Radio is D. Boone Pittman. He's here with his band, the Fugitives, a great sounding band. Love the whole thing. So welcome to all of you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. I wonder if we might start by having you talk a little bit about where you get the sort of knack for storytelling. Do we learn a little bit about that
I don't know if
from
it's-
your family or?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know if it's so much of a knack as just a practice of insanity, but there's a lot of influence, I think, from some of the great storytellers out there like Steve Earle and Bruce Springsteen. I grew up listening to both of them a lot.
I hear that.
And that's always been some of my favorite songwriting. So when I sit down and I write a song that actually has like some kind of narrative plot to it, it's never one of those things that happens quickly, because anytime you have to, thank you, sir, anytime you have to tell a story, within the confines and the rules of songwriting, it's always a challenge. But I love doing it.
Yeah, what are the confines and the rules you're referencing?
Well, just the structures of a verse. Can you tell a story in 5 verses or less? Because if you want to get it played on the radio, they say it has to be 3.5 minutes. That's almost impossible with like a Furnace Mountain, right? So
yeah,
we're going to do a song here. This next set, I think it's got 5 verses in it. But you got to have 5 verses to get to the ending. So it's a little bit like reading a short story. It's as long as it is.
Well, it's like the art becomes how much you can say with very little.
That's true.
Very few.
Very true.
Very few words, and you're doing a great job. Have you always been interested in history?
Yeah, I think that's always been one of my favorite subjects.
How far back does that go?
Middle school. Mr. Ranta's 7th grade middle school. That's how far back that goes.
In Stanton?
In Stanton, Kentucky. Powell County High School here.
Huh.
Yeah. Class of '86.
What did you learn from him? We're always interested in hearing artists talk about their teachers.
Their teachers.
Yeah.
He was just really good about talking, sharing the stories that weren't in the textbooks, things that just went a little bit deeper. I don't know if I can give you a good example at the moment, but he was just really great at. He could suck the classroom in and keep them interested in history, especially American history, which was a subject we were studying at the time.
Well, probably what was contagious for you as a student, right, was having this teacher who was interested enough in his subject that he didn't limit himself to just, the text.
He was very good at that. Very good at not limiting himself and kind of teaching outside the box a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, we'll talk about your family a little bit, and I see your dad passed away in just 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
We lost him. He was 80 years old. He was the one that taught me how to play guitar. There's a song on the Resurrection Noise, we're not doing it tonight, called Wildwood Flower. That was a song that he taught me how to play the guitar on, so I wrote a song about that whole experience. And that guitar that he taught me how to play on was the one that my grandfather bought for him when he was a kid.
Oh, come on.
It was a classic D28, and when he passed away, I inherited that. So I don't gig with it a lot, but I might break it out every now and then on a special occasion.
Huh.
But he played in a band called the Fugitives, and that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
He played in the clubs around Dayton, Ohio when I was growing up back in the 70s, back when country music was really cool. And he would pay me $1 a song to sit down and try to figure out what the lyrics were so that he could learn the lyrics. And that's where I really started to grow an appreciation for songwriting. I'm trying to figure out what these lyrics are. And I'll never forget that one of the songs that he wanted me to dissect was Lion Eyes by the Eagles. I don't know what year that came out or how old I was when it happened. But I remember writing those lyrics and I'm thinking, man, this is a really cool song. The lyric in here, the cheating, the story, the lying, all that stuff. But that was, like I said, the structure of a song was just a beautiful thing. It's captivating.
Yeah.
But my dad passed away, so that was a tough thing. We're going to do another song of that. I'll talk about him in a minute. My beautiful wife's here with us tonight. We've been married 27 years. We got 3 wonderful kids and 4 grandkids.
Well, all right.
Yeah, we're good at that too.
Talk about your dad's work. He was a musician. He did that as a side gig.
Yeah, that was his side gig.
Yeah.
We were up in Ohio. He originally grew up on Furnace Mountain as well in Stanton, but like a lot of the Kentucky culture did back in the late '60s, he traveled up to Ohio to find work, and that landed him at Chrysler, where he retired later on in the 80s. So, but while he was there, he put a band together, and they played, I guess, 5 or 6 nights a week. They were pretty busy.
Was that a big transition for you, moving from rural Kentucky up to Dayton, which by comparison is pretty urban?
It's a culture shock. It was the opposite, though. I was born in Dayton, so we moved down here when I was a little boy.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I went from playing baseball in my best friend's backyard every day to not having any friends at all anywhere close to me. So
yeah, so talk about that. So talk about that transition, the reverse transition.
It was different. It was tough, and at first I hated it. I really did. But I mean, I just
How come?
I was just bored.
Isolated.
I was bored. I grew up on a tobacco farm. The only people there was to talk to was my brother, and he was 6 years older than me. And then, of course, my grandparents, and I love them to death. But I didn't even have any cousins that were born yet. So it was just lonely and boring. And I read a lot of comic books, watched a lot of baseball. But
so what about music for you? Was music a place of peace for you already at that point in your life?
It was. I love music because it was always playing in my house. Mom and Dad was always spinning records. We had one of those turntables where you would stack the vinyl and it would drop and they'd play and it'd drop. Terrible on albums, but
that
that's
vinyl would slide on top.
Yeah, but they would load that thing up, man, and just play for hours. And we'd sit in the kitchen and play cards, or sometimes they'd actually dance in the living room. I mean, that's the kind of house I grew up in. But that's where I was exposed to all the greats. I mean, the early bebop stuff, or Elvis Presley, and the origins of rock and roll that my parents were exposed to when they were my age, when they were kids, like Chubby Checker, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh wow! So early rock and roll, yeah.
Early rock and roll, and of course they were playing the music of the times, like Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings, and listened to a lot of Emmylou Harris. Mom loved Emmylou Harris,
yeah.
And she was great. And I ended up getting exposed to a group called Kiss somewhere around that time frame, so I was kind of consumed by that whole phenomenon for a while, but I grew out of that eventually, and I think I was about 14 years old when I finally swallowed my pride and went and asked my dad to teach me how to play guitar, because I couldn't catch, hit, throw, or run, and I figured I needed a niche. So, and as much as I love music, I needed to learn how to play guitar. And
did Emmylou Harris was that the music that you all listened to that was closest to folk? Because I think of the singer-songwriters and what we learned so much from folk artists.
She was definitely one of them. Was it what's the name of that album? Quarter and a 10-cent pound. Quarter Moon and a 10-cent pound. Yeah, that was the one. But yeah, as I was learning to play, a lot of those songs were what I was learning to play on. I remember learning how to play. She had a song called "To Daddy."
Oh yeah.
And it was an easy one to play, so that was one of the first ones I remember learning how to play. But she did a version of "Coat of Many Colors." I learned how to play that one.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Was that a Dolly Parton song?
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, she does a good arrangement of it though.
Yeah, yeah. And so then you get through high school, and where are you when you are finishing up high school? Like, what's your frame of mind at that point?
Musically, I was so far disconnected from guitar at that point. I had set it down, and I was doing the things that people in high school did. And I entered the delayed enlistment program for the United States Air Force. So that last year of high school, I knew I was going. So it was all that I could do to stay focused on anything.
Sure.
That whole year was all about making memories, and that's exactly what I did. And then when I got out of basic training and got to my first duty station, I went and bought another guitar, and I haven't set it down since.
Where'd you go for duty?
I was stationed at Ellsworth Air Force Base in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I spent 3 years up there once I got out of basic training at tech school. Tech school was in Rantoul, Illinois.
Huh.
Cold and windy. Not as cold as Rapid City, South Dakota.
Did you get much chance to see South Dakota and learn about that culture there? I lived there too.
Did you
for
really?
a time, yeah.
Oh yeah. I ended up buying a Harley, if that tells you anything.
What is that, Sturgis, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. But the Black Hills, the Badlands, of course, just over the border in Wyoming. Just fishing and just traveling around the area is just beautiful. I love it up there.
Was there any point in time where you felt like, yeah, I could maybe settle out here, or were you always drawn back to this area, this region?
I knew I wanted to come back home to Kentucky.
Huh.
Yeah, but it didn't happen right away. After I got out of the Air Force, I ended up in Texas for 8 years, and that's where I met my beautiful wife, and I drug her back here kicking and screaming, and it's an interesting story.
She's shaking her head.
Yeah, I don't have the time to go into it, but I married her with the understanding that I would never be able to live in Kentucky again, and I would never have any kids of my own, because she had already had 2 children, and, well, she was unable to have any more. And so that was fine with me. So we got married. But, you know, I'm proud to say that this year we celebrated my son's 25th birthday here in Kentucky.
All right.
So God is good. And yeah, I'm spoiled. I get to have my way a lot sometimes. But
yeah. Hey, well, let's get back to some more music.
all right.
All right. Hey, welcome back, D. Boone Pittman.
Let me tune down here real quick.
All right.
If there's any more left on that ear monitor for this guitar, that would be great. This song is off the Resurrection Noise album. I wrote this song when my dad passed. I was just kind of sifting through some things, and just in one of those ways, I guess, is personal therapy. I sit down and try to put some of that to music. And one of the things that I remembered, my dad used to always threaten us kids when we were growing up with this thing called a wampus cat. And does anybody here know what a wampus cat is, or remember a wampus cat? Okay, all right. There's my people. A wampus cat is this mythical creature, and it's a Black Panther is what it is, but it has like these supernatural powers. If you ever look at one in the eyes directly, it puts a curse on you. So you didn't want to get cursed by the wampus cat. And my dad always told us that the wampus cat lived in this cave over the hill where I grew up, and that name of that cave was Nolan's Cave. So that's what the song's called. Go down in Johnson's Holler, stay away from Nolan's Cave. You go down in Johnson's Holler, stay away from Nolan's Cave. That wampus cat will find you, lay your soul away. That wampus cat got evil eyes, green as the emerald sea. That wampus cat got evil eyes, green as the emerald sea. When he casts his curse upon your child, bring you to your knees. Y'all watch out. Down from Chillicothe, rock climbing in the gorge. He came down from Chillicothe, y'all, rock climbing in the gorge. They found that dark hole, wasn't heard from anymore. The search and rescue came looking, found his backpack on the ground. Search and rescue came looking for him, found his backpack on the ground. It was torn and scattered all about, he was nowhere to be found. inside the cave, following close behind the lantern's bane. Where that team, they crawled inside the cave, following close behind the lantern's bane. They heard something crawling on the ground. They heard that eagle scream. Well, you go down in Johnson's Hollow, stay away from Nolan's Cave. You go down in Johnson's Holler, y'all, stay away from Nolan's Cave. Well, Wampus cat'll find you, lay your soul away. Take it home. That one's called Nolan's Cave. Thank you. This next one's off the the Emerge album. This song tells a story about this kid. He just turned 19. It was his birthday, and he was out celebrating, probably doing a little underage drinking, truth be known. So he got picked up by the law enforcement agency, and they stick him in the drunk tank. And while he's in there, he notices that there's somebody in there with him, and it's this homeless Afghanistan war veteran. And this guy's wanting to have a conversation with this kid, and this kid didn't want to really have anything to do with it. And the longer he talks to this man, or the longer he hears this man's story, he begins to have this epiphany, this spiritual awakening. This song is called The Revelation. Drunk tank, and I'm 19th birthday. I guess things just got out of hand. As I stood in that cell, the place smelled like hell, and I caught the glimpse of a man. And he started talking, and I couldn't stop him, no matter how much I ignored. And there in the midst of the sweat and the piss, man, I could have swore I saw the Lord. He spoke of his family, his wife and his baby. He hadn't seen them in years. The holes in his arm will tell the story about how he ended up here. His fatigues, they were baggy like they hadn't fit him. It's before he got home from the war. But he told me his name, but I swear I saw Jesus right there as I sat with the Lord. Said you wouldn't know that I once ran the 40, the shade on about 4.5. Had a few scouts looking, but I went with the Rangers, where I learned to run for my life. Took a bullet in Cabot, and it took out my left hip, and now I can't run anymore. Those pain needed healing, it was all too revealing. I was feeling the touch of the Lord. Well, don't close your eyes to the mystery around you. It isn't that hard to explain. The neighbor who's broke down just might be an angel sent down to be entertained. He reached in his pocket and pulled out a picture. A tear slowly fell from his chin. Said if I could go back and do it all over, I'd never leave them again. But my wife, she got pregnant while we were in high school. So much we just could not afford. So I raised my hand, left for Afghanistan. What you see, man, that's my reward. Well, don't close your eyes to the mystery around you. It isn't that hard to explain. The neighbor who's broke down just might be an angel sent down to be entertained. Where he laid his head on a cold, hard, steel mattress, and he started drifting away. I took off my coat and I laid it over him and left him right there where he lay. And I started walking when I noticed a picture that fell from his hands to the floor. And I recognized the girl had mama's eyes, and I dropped and cried out to the Lord.
Thanks so much. We're going to do some songs off the. We've been in the studio working on a new project, so we're going to do some unreleased stuff for y'all tonight, if that's all right. This song I wrote about a friend of mine. This song tells a story of true love and persistence and resilience and just sticking through hard times. This is a true story. This song is called Tomorrow. Well, it's another long night as I lay patiently alone, crying and along until the crack of dawn while I pray. But tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Well, I woke up and I saw your bedside was still vacant. It's a matter of time for you awake and find your way. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Well, winter turned to spring and spring turned to summer. 2 years it came and went. I don't know what kind of spell she's under, but I know one day soon she will repent. Well, rains will say I'm crazy, hanging on to some shadows. I ain't giving up, and no matter what nobody says, yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Summer, 2 years it came and went. I don't know what kind of spell she's under, but I know one day soon she will repent. Well, my friends will say I'm crazy, hanging on to some shadow. I ain't giving up, and no matter what nobody says, yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a good day.
All right. Hey, before we get on with our program and I tell you a little bit about what's happening next time, I'd like to take a moment just to remind listeners that Red Barn live streams, both tonight's and on any Wednesday nights, remain available online for you to view at your convenience, along with live audio streams, compliments of WGAD.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of our program, and for heaven's sakes, be sure to tell your friends and share what it is that you like about Red Barn Radio. And then tell them to share it too. Hey, our guest next week is Dalton Kaiser and the Downwind. Love that name. Dalton and the Downwind have been making a mark regionally with a full complement of shows throughout the area between Lexington and Louisville and Cincinnati. Their music is straight shooting outlaw country with a distinctively Eastern Kentucky flavor and message. As Dalton says, I come from a place where your area code is part of your DNA and the start of muzzleloader season is the most anticipated day of the year. That's next week. Dalton Kaiser and the Downwind in studio and on Red Barn Radio's live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. And hey, let's get back to some music from D. Boone Pittman and his band.
Thank you so much. I'm jealous. I didn't think of that name. I'm just saying. That's a great one. So I was talking earlier about we did the gig downstream. A lot of the content for the Resurrection Noise album deals either directly or indirectly with the Eastern Kentucky flooding that occurred in 2022. And this is one of those songs. This was actually the advanced single, the lead single for Resurrection Noise. I dedicated this song, and I still do, to all of the flood victims of Eastern Kentucky. Folks, they still need our help. And if you go to my website, there's a link where you can download this song. It's called East of Ravenna, and it's only a $4 download. 100% of those proceeds go towards the Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund. KSR Flood Relief, which is a partnership between Matt Jones and KSR and the Kentucky Chamber. So please go out and give it a download, and let's help some folks out. The song's called East of Ravenna.
Well, rain will fall and waters rise. We've seen better days and bluer skies. The ashes come and watch us rise, brother, that's just what we'll do. Think their spirit's been destroyed, come and hear that resurrection noise. This wasteland's heard the Father's voice saying, I'm doing something new. Times hard, East of Ravenna, and it's hard to know just where to begin. But we ain't lost, ain't close to finish, and the sun's gonna shine on Jackson again. Well, you don't know what you stand to lose till you see your town on the evening news. The world looks down upon your blues, but they can't see what's going on. We've all come to know firsthand that spirit moving across this land that drives us to help our fellow man rising up Kentucky strong. Times are hard, east of Ravenna, and it's hard to know just where to begin. But we ain't lost, ain't close to finish, and the sun's gonna shine on Jackson again. And the sun's gonna shine on Lawrenceburg again. Times are hard, east of Ravenna, and it's hard to know just where to begin. But we ain't lost, ain't close to finish, and the sun's gonna shine on Hazard again. The sun
shine a pipe full again. The sun's gonna shine again. Thank you so much. This was another one of those flood songs off the album. This is a fictional story of this guy that's in this toxic relationship, and he's been miserable for some time. And he's sitting and he's watching the news on his phone, and as he's scrolling through, he's seeing all the devastation and everything that's happening in eastern Kentucky where the floods are occurring. And he has this epiphany. He's like, you know what? Life is just too short to be miserable. So that began his emancipation process. This song was called Love and Floods and Other Natural Disasters. But I got loose living in your dream. Felt just like abuse all that time. Around my neck was a noose and a gold chain. Well, no one could say that I didn't try. Got nothing left, I can't even cry. I guess it's just time for us to say goodbye. Should the blame? Yeah, I wonder if you know that while we're sorting through our stuff, there are homes back in the east that lost it all back in the flood. Yeah, I'm no good with words, talking about what's in my head or what we said. None of that really mattered. Oh, but if I could write a song and make it all make sense, I'd write about love and floods and other natural disasters. Well, I want you to know I know you did the best you could. There were times I thought you would be the woman of my dream. Yeah, I blame it on my restless heart, blame it on my selfishness, blame it all on me, darling, you're just mean. Yeah, I watched it on my phone as our whole world is melting down. I watched those waters rise as I watched our true love drown. Yeah, I'm no good with words, talking about what's in my head or what we said. None of that really mattered. Oh, but if I could write a song and make it all make sense, I'd write about love and floods and other natural disasters. Take it, Skinny. Well, I'm no good with words, talking about what's in my head, or what we said. None of that really mattered. Oh, but if I could write a song and make it all make sense, I'd write about love and floods and other natural disasters. Well, now I'm no good with words, I'm talking about what's in my head, or what we said. None of that really mattered. Oh, but if I could write a song and make it all make sense, I'd write about love and floods and other natural disasters. I'd write about love and floods and other natural disasters. I'd write about love and floods and other natural disasters. Thanks so much. Here's another one of those unreleased songs. Check, check, check. I just lost my ear. There it is. This is a song I wrote about a time in my life that's that's very sacred and precious to me. And it's the courtship of my wife. And I took some artistic liberties on the subject matter as far as the symbolism in the song, because we were in Texas when I met her. But to make it a little bit more Appalachian, I've kind of changed the lyrics to fit. The song is called Patty Dear. Well, Patty dear, oh Patty dear, it's getting dark, I need you here. Won't you come lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song. I'll sing you a song. The sun is setting in the west, you can see it from my porch to bed. Boogie around on the nest, so won't you come along? Won't you come along? I've been waiting for a night like this to ask you for your time. Maybe walk down by the lake and share a jug of wine. I ain't asking for forever, maybe just a weather line. Oh, let's see where it takes us from here. Well, Patty dear, oh Patty dear, don't be coy, you made it clear. I can see it in your eyes, you care, so don't string me along. Don't string me along. I've been waiting for a night like this to ask you for your time. Take a six-string by the lake and sing you a few rhymes. I know your heart's been hurt before and I'm too fearless with mine. But let's see where it takes us from here. Oh, Patty dear, it's getting dark, I need you here. Won't you come lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song. I'll sing you a song. Thanks so much.
Nice song. It had a decidedly Celtic feel to it. Somehow, nice job. You got a great band here with you tonight, Dee. I thought maybe you might start us off by introducing us to the Robbins family back here, playing bass and drums. They don't have microphones to speak for themselves, so.
Yeah,
Can you
the
tell
Robbins
us about
family rhythm section is made up of Ben Robbins and Christopher Robbins, who are both from Louisville, Kentucky. I met Chris on Craigslist. What was that? 15 years ago, I put an ad out for a drummer for a worship drummer for a church band, and we've been together ever since. And Ben came along a little later. You want me to get the rest of them while we're at it?
Well, I can just talk to the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they all got microphones. Hey, but why don't we start off with Stephanie, you over there on the keys. Welcome and love what you're saying over there. I hear your voice more than I hear you piano just because of my mix in my ear here. But you're doing a great job with the harmonies.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, also got a great Dutch name there.
I do, yes.
Tell us about your where are you from?
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. That's where I was born and raised. So I've been in Kentucky all my life, but my dad's family's from Michigan, so that's where the Dutch influence comes from.
Of course, up there by Holland and
That's right.
Grand Rapids and
Yep.
all those Dutch enclaves up there. And how did you meet Dee?
Wait, how did that happen? I'm trying to remember. It was a
She
few
doesn't
years ago.
remember.
I think it
Made
might
a
have
big
been-
impression on her, Dee.
It might have been Craigslist too. I don't
I think
remember.
it was. Yeah, I was looking for a band or just a kind of a group to join to play music. I'd always had piano lessons all my life and studied music in college and stuff, but wanted to do something kind of for fun. And yeah, just when I saw the opportunity, I jumped in.
So was this your first opportunity to play with a band, with a performing band?
Yeah, at least this type of band. Yeah, I done some like worship music and stuff before, but never like a country type band. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. How is this working for you?
Oh, I love it.
Well,
It's lots of fun. Yeah.
It's working
Nice.
out great for us.
Yeah. Well, you just do a great job with your harmonies, and thanks for what you're bringing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's terrific. Sarah. Sarah plays fiddle up here. Sarah, have you always been a fiddler, or were you at some point in time a violinist?
Oh, that's a good
Violinist.
That's a good question. I've always really been a fiddle player. I did just a little bit of orchestra in middle school, but didn't really stick with that. I was raised, my grandpa taught me how to play fiddle. And
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did. I'm from Eastern Kentucky, and that's what we did for entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've come from a musical family, and that's what we did when we gathered around and played music.
Oh, that's sweet.
All the time.
So tell me about your grandpa's fiddling. Was he an old time fiddler, or did he like bluegrass music, or both?
No, I would say he leaned more towards old time fiddle. You know, he taught me a lot of like old contest fiddle type, old time
yeah.
fiddle tunes.
Yeah.
Starting out, but he was influenced by a lot of different kinds of music. I mean, he listened to a lot of classical and Stefan Grappelli and
Oh, wow,
you know,
okay.
all different kinds of things like that. And so, but yeah, we focused mostly on, you know, fiddle tunes as a kid.
But your dad wasn't an old time purist, in the sense, like you say, if he listened to Grappelli,
Right.
a lot of old time fiddlers.
No, yeah, no.
Didn't bother with that.
No, my grandpa was, you know, I think he was well versed in a lot of different kinds of music and genres. I think he liked it all.
Huh. Well, you're a beautiful player, and so did
Thank you.
develop your own skill doing contest tunes and actually going to contests?
As a little thing, I
Uh-huh.
did that. I did, and then we kind of switched over to having a little family band as a kid, and we had 4 fiddle players and a whole band behind us. The adults ended up being like the backup band, and the kids were the front people, and we played fiddle and traveled around some and got into a lot of good adventures as children. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what about now? What other kinds of music do you play? Do you play with some other bands and
I do
sit in with
actually.
others? Yeah.
I do actually. Yeah, I have a band called the Pretty Goods, and we play a lot of different mixes of things. We have an upright bass and fiddle and a couple guitars, 3 vocalists, and we have a lot of fun doing that. We've done that for a few years, 2 or 3 years.
Based in Louisville?
We're from Shelbyville.
Or from Shelbyville.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, from Shelbyville. So we have a lot of fun doing that. And then I play as a duo with my husband, and we like to write songs, and especially him. He writes a lot, and so we love to do our original music.
And what kind of songs do the two of you do? What kind of songs does your husband write?
I would say it leans towards Americana.
Yeah.
Yeah, and country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of those flavors in there.
You guys do harmonies too?
Yeah,
All right.
we do.
Wow.
We do.
Very nice.
And then I get to.
They're amazing songwriters. They really are.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And then Dee invites me in, and I get to come in and rock with them. So I get a little taste of it all that way.
Yeah.
So this is my rock and roll fix. I get to play with the electric guitar and the big drum set and all
Get
that.
to test out all your technology.
So yeah, yeah. So it's fun all the way around.
Well, good. Well,
Thanks
it's great
for
to
having
have you. Yeah, you're a wonderful player, and I appreciate it, Sarah. Okay, and that leaves us with only one, not the last but not shortest. is Skinny Mulligan over here. He's on mandolin. Tell us how you all met, Dee and Skinny.
I was in the middle of getting out of a band that I played with for a couple of years, and I knew that I wanted to keep playing music. And I was playing in a place in Harrisburg called Lemon's Mill, and I noticed that Dee Boone was playing there, and I just gave him a listen, and I gave the Fugitives a listen, and I thought, that's a really, really good band. So I kind of went down there just to network and listen and everything else, and I got to talking to him after his show. And he was playing that next week at a bar. It's not in business anymore. It's called Rock Haven. And he invited me to the next gig that he had that next weekend at Lemon's Mill. And after sitting in there and playing a couple times, a couple of songs, he leaned over and he said, "Hey, how would you like to be in my band?" And I said, "Do you want me to be a fugitive?" And he said, "Yeah."
No, I want you to stay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been picking ever since, and that was about 2 years ago in a month. So
Nice. Well, how often do you guys? You do some nice vocals. How often do you guys work up your vocals and rehearse those?
It just depends. Collectively, it's a lot more challenging, obviously, with more peoples and their schedules and everything.
Yeah.
But me and him play together often, so we kind of have an advantage because when we're not doing full band stuff, we're doing duos. And I think a lot of that just kind of comes with just playing live and just feeling each other out a little bit. But we're going down to Gatlinburg to do a show next week. We're going to rehearse for that because it's got to be tight. But yeah, we get together and we pick. He only lives about 15 minutes down the road.
Oh, handy.
Yeah. By the way, this is his third time here on Red Barn.
Huh?
He's a veteran.
I'm thinking either third or fourth.
Fourth?
Might be fourth.
Man.
Well, I feel ashamed now. It seems like
You must be really good.
I am. You haven't figured that out yet?
Well, go ahead. Who else did you play with?
First one was Bluegrass 101.
Okay.
Second one was String Syndicate. Third one was Shades of Grass. And this one, I think, is fourth one.
Okay.
I can't remember if I played here with Flat Creek or not.
So those shows were a while back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, right.
I
These
played with
aren't recent
101 back in 2001 to 2003.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So-
Those were some of our early programs.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Great to have you, too.
Yeah, always good coming back here.
All right. Dee, so your songs, you've had some success with your songs. I mean, you got some awards and whatnot. Tell us about what those awards have meant to you. And there's awards, nominations, and whatnot. Is that important to you?
Well, I mean, it is, and it is. I mean, it's important to me in the sense that in this industry, it's really hard to know sometimes if you're getting through to anybody. So just to get any kind of recognition is an amazing, humbling experience. So I'm certainly thankful for that. But I don't go into the studio with plans of trying to win awards. I'm just trying to do my thing and not worry about things like that. But I'm certainly grateful to the Josies for giving me the Songwriter of the Year, and the Appys for nominating and awarding this next song we're going to do here in a moment.
Yeah. Well, you're.
Let's not forget about he was
What?
He humbly reminded me that he was Appalachian Drummer of the Year at the Appy Awards as well.
Huh?
The best drummer in all of Appalachia, right there.
Well, how does that-
Christopher Robbins.
So, you're gonna have to speak for him. But what? How does one get that particular award? Is it about speed? Is it about taste? Is it about? Yeah.
I'm not entirely. I think it's just the overall package. But you have to submit a piece that I mean, they have every genre or every instrument available, but you have to submit a piece that highlights, something that they did on their instrument. And I sent in Nolan's Cave, thinking that was probably the tightest song on that album that he had been involved in. I really love his work on. I love his work on all of it, but I really loved his work on Nolan's Cave, and I submitted it. I nominated him.
All right.
He ended up in the final three, and we all had to go there to see if he won or not. But I was grateful for him.
Yeah. Way to go.
He is certainly deserving.
Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. It's an honor, right? Yeah. It is. Means a lot.
Sometimes I forget that it's not all about me. So.
Nah. So I wonder if you might talk just a little bit about your experience. You know, you've had some experience in the church and as a associate pastor. You say you just sort of finished that. You've been doing that for a while, and yeah, it seems like that would be for you sort of a unique vantage point for I don't know, learning about what people need and what people are struggling with, and I wonder if you might talk a little bit about how that experience has maybe helped to shape some of the things you think about when you write songs.
Yeah, it's a tough line to walk sometimes too, because I have to try to keep them separated a little bit, because this obviously is more performance oriented, and the worship gig is completely not. But I hope to think that, you can find traces of, my spirituality in the lyrics of my songs, and it may not be blatantly obvious, but I think if you look close enough and read between the lines, you'll see it.
Well, it's not preachy, that's
for
sure.
It's not meant to be preachy, but at the same time, I think Jesus is woven through all of it, and that's just me. That's just me and who I am. You can't help but be who you are when you're creating art, and I think it's just a beautiful thing that I was able to take the 25 years that I did, was serving the church and apply that musically. I don't really get into the whole label thing where secular versus spiritual or sacred or all that. I think the beauty of God is found in all things, and I don't think we do ourselves any favors by confining it or putting God in a box like that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with my music. Is I hope you can find God in my tunes, or at least maybe it's enough to get the conversation started.
Yeah. I just want to go back briefly. You began the show with that just incredible image of being at the Salvisa campground, and somebody says, "Hey, you got to look at the river." And as you're telling the story, I'm thinking, are we going to see like moonlight on the surface of the river? Is this going to be a thing of beauty that is coming here? And it's so much the opposite.
It was unforgettable. It was almost
That's
traumatic.
powerful.
Yeah,
it's powerful, and it's so interesting as you were telling that story. I got thinking about the folks as they talk about the damage of the wildfires and losing their homes and their possessions. Ultimately, people come back to possessions don't matter, homes don't matter. What matters is that we're alive.
Yeah, that we're alive, that we're safe.
Right.
That we still have our family,
Yeah. And, the people of Kentucky survived that tragedy, and it's great what you're doing to support that, with your music. And not only talking about it, but also literally, doing the benefit, with your song.
Music is just such an instrument of healing. And I feel like even if we have to sing about tragic events, we can draw a certain degree of healing from that. And music attaches a part of our, not just our brain sensors, but attaches a part of our soul that just words and books and poems and things that we read can't reach, because it's the melody, I think, that hits us in the spot that we need to be hit.
Yeah. And the story of the song you're about to play, a song that was recognized, the question is certainly a tragic song. It's a song that I know must resonate with so many people. It's so much about today and the struggle that young people have. I wonder if you could talk some about the question before you play it.
So the question is about two incidents that the premise of it was based on two actual incidents that occurred in our area. I'm not going to mention the families' names, but it's really about just trying to grapple with the loss of a child, and the freedom to be angry with God during that time, the questions that we have, the big why, and I don't know that anybody is ever prepared to experience the loss of a child, and I certainly hope that nobody ever has to. But it's unfortunate that that the two key characters in this song, that actually did happen. It's unfortunate that the song had to be written at all. I kind of equate this song to the Passion of the Christ, and that the Passion of the Christ was a great movie, but it's not one you want to watch every week. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the question for me is, I love the song. I think it's a beautiful song, and it's a powerful story. But it's a hard listen. I'll just give you a warning. Yeah,
and there's also a video that you created surrounding this song.
It is. It's on my YouTube channel. In fact, all our videos are out there. But Boone Pittman, go to our YouTube channel and you'll find the video for the question.
Yeah, and I would urge you all to check that out. It's also really powerful. Let's welcome back Boone Pittman. He's going to play the question for us.
Run young, run lean, biggest smile you'd ever seen. Left his home at 17, chasing higher education. His world had opened up so big, just an ordinary king. He just wanted to fit in and build his reputation. Oh, but time is a stealer, and you don't have far to fall when you find out that you're mortal after all. But tell me, why must it be so young? If I could have one question answered today, if there's a God out there, Lord, hear my prayer. Tell me, why must it be so young? So much left to do and left unsung, gone before the prime. The story's just begun. Shining bright, 12 years old, tormented in her soul. World around her turned cold, just like that family Bible. 'Cause where's God when you don't belong? Oh, it's always the same old song. one more taken, much too young. Oh, it all just seems so final. Oh, but time is stealing, and you don't have far to fall when you find out that you're mortal after all. But tell me, why must it be so young? I can have one question answered today. If there's a God out there, Lord, hear my prayer. Tell me, why must it be so young? I don't understand, just don't understand. 'Cause God, I know you must have felt this way when you look down upon that rugged cross. And I know what you did, but I just can't help but ask, why must it be so young? If I could have one question answered today, if there's a God out there, Lord, hear my prayer. Tell me, why must it be so young? So much left to do and left unsung, gone before the prime. The story's just begun. Thank you so much. I'm going to have to do a costume change real quick. Give me a minute. I'm back. Resurrection Noise, another flood song. This is a story about a fictional family trying to recover. This is a story of restoration and hope. This song is called Better Days. Daddy's dead and gone, Mama's hanging on, and sister walks around here in a haze. Little brother's always ill, still trying to kick the pills. Sometimes I think I'd kill for better days. Daddy worked hard all his life, built this home to build this life. Now all we left behind's been washed away. But sometimes I think we're cursed, but then again it can't get worse. One day we will emerge a better day. 'Cause when I look across that mountain, every morning the sun will rise, as mercies fall anew with every rain. Heaven knows I've seen hard times, you could use some bluer skies. My eyes to look ahead to better days. The water came, and we woke up from the rain, as that river full of pain began to rain. There's not much left here today that wouldn't wash away. We look ahead and pray for better days. 'Cause when I look across that mountain every morning, the sun will rise as mercies fall anew with every rain. Heaven knows I've seen hard times, so could use some bluer skies. My eyes to look ahead to better days. My eyes to look ahead to better days. Well, Daddy's dead and gone, Mama's hanging on, and Sister walks around here in a hay. Little brother's always ill, still trying to kick the pills. Sometimes I think I'd kill for better days. Thank you very much. This is another one of those unreleased songs. This is probably the favorite song that I've written, if at least in a long time. And this is a song that I really set out to honor my wife because she loves working outside. She loves working in the garden. She loves playing in the dirt. And of course, she loves her grandkids. And she likes to combine all of that while she's sharing her faith. And as I was putting the lyrics down, I began to have these flashbacks of my grandmother, who also loved to work in the garden. And she had a huge garden. And I used to go out there and help her work in it. And of course, we'd sit on the back porch and we'd break and string beans. So this song goes out to anybody that's ever strung beans on the front porch with your granny. This song is called The Gardener. After breakfast every day, cotton apron and a straw hat, that had both seen better days. I watched her work till she was bleeding. I guess that was just a thing. If you listen very closely, you could hear the gardener sing. The sweet gospel tunes are flowing, every holy pick and ring. She let me tag along and said, just watch out for the snake. She said, boy, bring me a bushel and help me pick this mess of beans. And then we'd string 'em on the front porch while I heard the gardener sing. Amazing grace, blessed assurance, a rock of ages cleft for me. Well, I hung on every note, every word, and every melody. It's where I learned to work the land, where I learned about the King. Right there hidden in those rows of corn, where you could hear the gardener sing. Flown, Granny's gone, and I moved on, and all that's left of She left quite the legacy. One day I hope to see her there, 'cause I know right where she will be. Lifting praises with a rose, where you could hear the garden sing. I can almost hear her lifting praises with a rose, where you could hear the garden sing. Thank you so much.
Well, all right. Hey, well, there are so many people to thank for our broadcast. First, D. Boone Pittman and the Fugitives, our guests on this evening's broadcast. We want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on social media, and those listening to us on our growing network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, Central and Eastern Kentucky's radio news leader. You can listen online at WEKU.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, you got to be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall here in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests and our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Hey, now before we close out the program, let's bring back D. Boone Pittman and the Fugitives for one more number.
Listen, thank you so much for having us tonight.
Thank you.
It is such an honor to play this stage. I've been wanting to play here for a long time. I know these guys have too, except for him.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back. We're going to close things out with, I had mentioned earlier how Springsteen was a big influence on mine. This album in particular was probably one of the biggest songwriting influences for me. This came off the Nebraska album. The song is called Reason to Believe. Should a man stand over a dead dog by the highway in a ditch? She's looking down, kind of puzzled, smoking the dog with a stick. Got his car flung open, standing out on Highway 41. Like if he stood there long enough, the dog get up and run. Struck me kind of funny, some kind of funny certainty. How at the end of every hard day, people find some reason to believe. Mary Lou loved Johnny, love me and true. Baby, I work for you every day and bring my money home to you. One day up and left her, and ever since that, she waits down at the end of that dirt road for young Johnny to come back. Man struck me kind of funny, some kind of funny certainty. How at the end of every hard-earned day, people find some reason to believe. Take a baby to the river, Hal William they called him. Watch the baby in the water, take away little calcium. The whitewash shotgun shack, an old man passes away. Takes body to the graveyard, and over him they pray. what does it mean? How at the end of every hard-earned day, people find some reason to believe. Huh. Congregation gathered on Battle Riverside. Preacher stands with a Bible, groom stands waiting for his bride. Congregation's gone, the sun sets behind a weeping willow tree. Groom stands alone and watches a rush on. So effortlessly, and he's wondering, where can his baby be? So at the end of every hard-earned day, people find some reason to believe. Thanks so much.
Boone Pittman. Well, that's all for our show for this week, folks. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. Hey, and it's always great to hear from all of you who listen to Red Barn Radio's archive performances on your favorite streaming platforms. Speaking of you listeners, please, before, during, or after you enjoy Red Barn Radio, take just a moment to engage with us. It's your comments, your sharing, and certainly your choice to subscribe to our channels that means so much to us and will keep us growing and continuing our mission to bring roots music Southern style to your neck of the woods and beyond. And now we bid you good night. Let's stick together, let's appreciate each other, and let's join up again next time for a great evening of music and conversation on Red Barn Radio. I'm Bradford Becker. See you next time.